Close your eyes and imagine a happy, peaceful family. A farming family with 3 children with little contact with the outside world. Their days are spent working on their vast land and their evenings are spent together. Everything seems to be going well in their lives, until one day, everything changes in a moment. They start to run away, without even looking back, without understanding what happened, they just go. And the strangest thing is, they themselves do not know why they run away, and this is exactly how the incredible story of the Tromp family began. There is no logic in this case, only unanswered questions. On the outside, an ordinary and restful family, a farming family in Victoria, Australia. Mark Tromp, the head of the family, and his wife, Jacoba Tromp, have been living a life inside the earth for years. They were in charge of their own business, away from the chaos of city life. For them, this life was perfect. And they had 3 children. Rihanna Tromp, 29 years old, the biggest child in the family, independent, able to make her own decisions but with a deep dependence on her family. Mitchell Tromp, 25 years old, the middle child and the only male member of the family. He was calm, cool-headed and logical. Ella Tromp, 22 years old, the smallest and most energy member of the family. She was known for her active and cheerful personality. Everything seemed normal, but the reality was very different. That morning, everything seemed to be as it had always been, but for the Tromp family, things had already changed. Mark Tromp, he didn't sleep a wink that night. He had a feeling he couldn't explain. It was as if something was watching them from behind the shadows. Jacoba Tromp noticed his wife's uneasiness, but the strange thing was that he himself was feeling a senseless nervousness. And her children, Rihanna, Mitchell, and Ella, they saw their parents turning into someone they didn't recognize, but they couldn't understand why. And then, in a moment, the family rushed out of the house without even having breakfast. They decided to run away. There was no plan, no destination. All they knew was that they had to go, as if some unseen threat was after them. But the strange thing was, they tried not to leave any trace behind. They left their cell phones at home, their ID cards, passports, bank cards, everything was on the table. They did not take personal belongings with them, a deliberate forgetting. They just jumped in their car and speed away from the farm. Was this insanity, or was there really a danger? From the first day of the escape, everything was strange. The Tromp family was fast crossing the roads, as if they were running away from an invisible danger, but the real danger was perhaps in themselves. Along the way, Mitchell watched his family's behavior carefully. His father Mark's eyes kept drifting to the rearview mirror. His mother Jacoba was silently praying, and his sister Rihanna was staring out the window with a gnawing fear. But the strangest thing of all was that they had left behind their phones, their ID cards, their money. It was as if they wanted to disappear anonymously and without a trace. Mitchell realized that there was no logical explanation for this situation. All this was too strange for a family that until a few days ago had led an ordinary life. Now his suspicions became unbearable. And finally, he made a decision. During a break, he quietly walked away from his family. He got on a bus and returned back to Melbourne. He didn't want to be part of this madness anymore, but he could not forgive what would happen to his family. Mitchell had left, and with his departure, the paranoia in the family got stronger. Nobody said a word, but everyone was looking at each other with suspicious eyes. When the tension reaches an unbearable level, Ella made a decision. She found an opportunity, and he left his family and went back to the farm. But this time, he did something different. He went to the police and told them everything, and what he told, it was unbelievable. Everything changed in an instant. My mom and dad thought they were being followed. They asked us to leave our phones, passports, and ID cards at home. My father was constantly changing our route, saying, "We are being watched." My brother Mitchell couldn't take it and left us. So I finally decided to come home. I'm very worried about my family. Please, find them. Now, there were only 3 people left in the car: Mark, Jacoba, and Rihanna. But now everything was much worse. Mitchell and Ella's separation made Mark even more afraid. He was constantly whispering, "They're watching us! They're after us!" Jacoba and Rihanna didn't know what to do. Why were they running away? Uncertain. But going against their father was impossible, and most frightening of all. Mark also abandoned his family. He stopped the car at an unknown point. He opened the door without saying anything, and he disappeared, walking into the darkness. Jacoba and Rihanna were now alone in fear in the middle of the unknown. Darkness, silence, and Rihanna found herself hiding on a farm. She was confused, she was scared, and she was completely exhausted. The farmers who found her realized that the young woman had suffered severe trauma. Rihanna, he couldn't even remember his own name. The police were called immediately, and Rihanna was hospitalized. On the side of a deserted road, Jacoba was unconscious, hungry, and exhausted for days. He did not know where he was. His legs were shaking, his mind was blurring. Reality. It was as if it was slowly unraveling. He moved silently. He collapsed in the garden of a house. He did not call out. He didn't ask for help. He was no longer afraid, but he was no longer running away. This was not a salvation. It was a disappearance. It had been 5 days since the escape. A lonely man on the side of the highway. Tired, exhausted. His mind is completely fuzzy. This man was Mark Tromp. It was clear that no one was following him, but the fear in his eyes was still there. The police took him into custody, but the question was, why did they run away? And now, the truth would slowly come to light. The Tromp family's bizarre escape caused a stir in Australia. While the police were trying to understand the reasons behind the incident, there was only one question on the minds of the public and the media. Why did they escape? Mark and Jacoba Tromp testified for the first time after being treated in hospital, but their answers made the case even more mysterious. "We were being followed," Mark Tromp told police. He believed that someone was watching him and his family, that his phones were tapped, that his bank accounts were held. He was in so much fear that he thought leaving everything behind and running away was the only way out. Jacoba found it difficult to speak because of the psychological meltdown he had suffered. He could only say, "We were not safe." It was all Mark's idea, but we believed we were in danger. Mitchell and Ella said that their parents suddenly changed and became obsessive and paranoid. Rihanna was the most traumatized. During her hospitalization, she kept saying, "They are still watching us." But despite all this, no concrete evidence of threat was found. Experts have raised the possibility that the Tromp family suffered from Folie à Deux, or shared psychotic disorder. This disorder occurs when one person's delusions are shared by other family members. Mark's paranoia, in particular, had taken hold of the whole family, leading them to believe in an unreasonable escape plan. In an interview with reporters weeks later, Mark said only these words, "I just wanted to protect my family." But was there really a danger, or was it just a trick of their minds? Here is the whole escape plan and the breakup of a family on the road. The Tromp family walked through a nightmare trapped inside their own minds. Was what they saw real? Or was all this running away just a product of paranoia and fear? Now, will they be able to live in peace in their home, or will this tension haunt them forever? It's hard to know, but there is one thing we do know. Sometimes the truth is scarier than our imagination. The Tromp family case has never been fully explained, and perhaps never will be. So what do you think happened? Paranoia, a hidden threat, or something much darker? Share your thoughts in the comments.